Hey, what's up, everyone? Happy Thursday. We're doing a one-day early episode this week because we couldn't make tomorrow work. Anyways, happy Thursday, y'all. We're going to be talking about more why keywords are dead and more AEO information. If you haven't seen Andrew Holland's checklist from JBH, you can check it out at the AEO.so. You can even check it out at... Actually, let me pull up the checklist URL so you can download the checklist yourself. JBH. All right, I put the checklist in the live chat. If you guys want to check it out, you can check out the checklist there. Stefan, my man. Happy Thursday. Any day you're on, my man. Love you, man. If you're just tuning in, we have Andrew Holland today, and we will be talking about why keywords are dead and more AEO tactics, which have been included in the AEO knowledge base at AEO.so. And for those that want to start really getting and tracking AI search, check out Profound at tryprofound.com. I use Profound with a few of my clients. Great software. Great platform if you're going to get into really analyzing the AI search landscape, whether it's ChatGPT, Perplexity, AEO. My man, Andrew, how you doing, brother? Hello.
How you doing? I'm good, fella. I'm good.
Man, looking good, brother.
Thank you.
We got about
I can't see you. You're hidden behind this dark screen. I can barely see. I've got these lights in my face.
Don't worry. The screen will come up. It'll come down a little bit after a while. We're just like letting people we're teasing the audience right now, right?
This is going to be a good one. I did see your questions. They're very good.
Love it. And guys, if you're just tuning in, check out. We'll be talking about why keywords are dead and how it relates to AI search. And for those that have not seen it yet, go ahead and download the JBH checklist, which Andrew put together at jbh.co.uk/checklist. You can also see the digital PR checklist that helps with AI, which Jane just talked about just a few weeks ago. So be sure to check that out. Don't be shy, guys, to see a bunch of you out there. Say hi in the live chat. I know it's a day early. I wanted to make sure I talk to my brother Andrew here because he's been posting a lot of great information on LinkedIn. And so I wanted to talk to him while it's fresh.
Before I forget. I'm getting old. I forget things.
Kenneth says, Happy Thursday. Happy Thursday, Kenneth. How long ago? I think it was maybe 2 years since we last chatted. Or maybe even 3 years.
No, yeah, it is 3 years since we last did that. I mean, we spoke at San Diego, but yeah, 3 years, 2022, I think it was. Yeah.
On the episode, right? Yeah, it was because I remember I still had my crazy looking haircut.
You did, yeah. I can't really see your haircut yet. I'll see what it's right now in a minute.
You'll see it. You see it. Natalie, hi. How you doing?
I just love your music.
Oh yeah. I'm pretty sure we can do a lot of this stuff with AI now, but I mean, before I created this 5 years ago, and before when I was using other people's music, I would get these copyright marks or whatever. So I was so I paid someone to create these beats. I said, this is the beat I want. I want some funk. I want something hype. And so I kind of described it to him, and then he gave me a set of 10 beats, and I was like, oh, I love it.
It's ace. It's brilliant. This is this is the third podcast I've done this week as well. So I'm podcast, and you have always got the energy, man. You've always got the most energy.
And this man, 3. You've been busy.
I have. I don't know why. I mean, I get them every now and again, but I mean, this week's just been crazy and so many, and I don't know. Maybe it's a sign of the times we're in, and people have a thirst of knowledge. I don't know.
Yeah. Kobe says, "Hey, Andrew and Dre. Hey, Kobe." We got less than 4 minutes, or less than 5 minutes to go, and today, if you're just tuning in, we have Andrew Holland, and we'll be talking about why keywords are dead, and more great AEO tips, tactics, and information that you can apply to your business. Oh, if you guys haven't seen the value of SEO, you can get this. Can we still get it on? Can we still get it on Amazon?
I think so. Yeah, I think you can get. The Kindle version it wasn't working very well, so I got rid of that. But I think you can get print on demand still. You know, I still get a little bit of money from Amazon. I think what I should probably do is try and get a publishing deal and then get a new book out there. I think that'd be the goal.
There you go. All right. Yeah, so we have the value of SEO. If you haven't seen it, it may be very rare to find now. So if you luck out, be on the lookout.
More money, it's worth more.
There you go. So if you see it on eBay, it'll be worth every penny. There you go. More AEO and Geo. Yes, Fletcher. Maddox says, learning a lot of AEO lately from the recent episodes. Thank you, Maddox, for watching. Oh, yeah. We got like about 3 more minutes to go, guys. If you guys got any questions on AEO, get them ready. Andrew's ready to answer them all.
That's my Miyagi.
There you go.
Wax on.
Wax off. There you go. All right. What's up, Andy and Dre? Hello, Victor. Wow, a lot of y'all tuning in on a Thursday. Thank you all for coming by. And if you guys have not checked out AEO.so, AEO.so is my AEO knowledge base, which is free. And I collect all the great tactics and tips and put it all together in one place for you to kind of check off. So check that out. You can also see integrated JBH's checklist with the digital PR and the SEO, or AEO, Geo, whatever you want to call it. It's all the same.
The first letter is the same thing, but the last letter, everyone's got a first different letter, but it's the rest is the same, and then it is all the same. You know, it's the same. Many an industry by many names.
Yeah. It's been yeah. AEO, GEO,
AI, SEO.
Oh yeah, AI, SEO. The LLMO.
Yeah, I heard that one. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. There's a lot out there.
Heck yeah, made it on time. Calling Larry. What's up, my man? All right, let's see. We have less than 2 more minutes to go. Thank you all for coming in on a Thursday. I know I'm doing back-to-back episodes from our local SEO show yesterday. Thank you all for coming back again. Do you guys do at JBH do local SEO, or is it mainly enterprise clients?
No, we do local, small to medium enterprises, enterprise. We do it all. Yeah, it's and we're about to open up our services a bit broader as well for people, and so to make SEO or Geo or AEO or LMO, make it more accessible to people. So I think we've got some really exciting packages we're launching, which has come off the back of a couple of years of a lot of research, a lot of process development. So yeah, we can help everybody.
Nice. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put you in the back real quick, and I'm going to do the quick introduction, and I'll introduce you in about a couple minutes.
No worries. See you soon.
All right, guys. Thank you again for coming on a special Thursday. If you have not seen or tried, if you're an enterprise company, or if any company, if you're looking to really step up your AEO game and using some great software, check out tryprofound.com.
Yeah, hey, time to get it started, no delay, let's work. Wanna see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre de Vera, steady dropping knowledge, over 15 years in the game, so he knows all about it. Master the art of SEO, you will be amazed. Time to get your brand off page to on page. Dropping knowledge, legendary for sure. Whether you're just getting started or self-employed entrepreneur. Yeah, let's go. Subscribe to the SEO video show.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SEO Video Show, where SEO is alive and fun. My name is Paul Andre de Vera, aka Dre, and I curate SEO videos released within the past week into about 1-minute clips. My favorite part of the show is when I get to introduce my guests, and today's guest we have Andrew Holland. Before we get started, let's say what's up to everyone in chat. I see Calling Larry, Marcus, Logan, Victor, Maddox, Fletcher, James, Kobe, Natalie, Kenneth, Stefan. What's up, everyone? Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Now let's get on with the show.
Hey Dre, why do SEOs love the farmer's market? Lots of organic content.
Andrew has been doing SEO for over a decade. He's a speaker and author of The Value of SEO. He publishes the AI Growth Lab with over 12,000 subscribers. He is currently the director of SEO at JBH. Please welcome Andrew Holland.
Andrew, my man, welcome back to the show.
Hello, and thank you so much, Dre, for having me back.
Everyone's give a round of applause. All right. This is the first question I ask all my SEO professionals to come on here. In 1 minute or less, how does Andrew get ranking on page 1 of Google?
It's a good question. Through hiring an expert.
All right, there you go. First knowledge bomb today. Let's rewind this real quick. Hold on. Okay, Andrew, take us way back. What, about a decade ago. When did you first get into SEO, and how did you get into it?
Okay, so this is a very long story that I will truncate. So I was in the police for 20 years, during which for a long part of that time I worked in covert policing, and I was an informant handler. So I used to work with an entity-based search engine, and that was an intelligence system. So I used to have to gain intelligence. So we used to have to create content on our intelligence systems, and I used to promote that. So I worked with intelligence search engines for quite some time. It's not the only search engine I worked with, but it was the main one. And then I started developing websites as a bit of a side hobby, and then ended up leaving the police. I was 36 when I started my first SEO business, my SEO company, as it was. Did that for 7 years. It was really successful, and then what happened was I got offered and made an offer I couldn't refuse to go in-house. It's an agency, and I did that with a big team, and then I moved to a different agency where I've been at JBH now for well over 2 years. So yeah, that's a very short but a condensed version of 10 years, which but it's essentially I'm a weirdly self-taught SEO who started his own business straight away. But I obviously was learned most of this working with search engines, and then everything else sort of fitted into place when I started doing it with Google and websites.
Love that. Okay, so you said you started you're self-taught. So like, what kind of resources and how'd you learn it?
Oh, well, I mean, the actual truth is, so I started learning SEO because of Glenn Allsop. He was the first person. So he did from Detailed, as you will know him, but he used to have a site called Viper Chill, you'll probably remember. And he had something called the Niche Cloud Blueprint, I think it was, and that's how I first learned how to set up hosting, how to put a WordPress site together, and everything else. It was a free resource, and then I did the old Quick Sprout University, if you remember that, from Neil Patel. I was still in the police at this point, and I was buying books, watching webinars. I'd come in off a late shift at midnight, pour myself a glass of wine, and then do a webinar. My kids were babies then, so like whilst one was having a nap, I'd be blogging and creating content and so on. and just learning. I did disasters. There was a chocolate recipe site that I can't believe that was going to rank, and I don't know, insanely thought that was going to make me money. And then lots of disasters, lots of successes, lots of failures, and eventually. When I left the police, I'd got some great skills. I was actually doing a lot of social media marketing. I mean, social search, as it's called these days. So I was doing lots of that, and I managed to get quite a few little clients, and I didn't know anything about business really, and did a load of different services. And in the end, I settled on SEO and ended up in the Brian Dean SEO That Works course, which was the first premium course I did. I learned a ton of that, and then from that course, and then I did Neil Patel's advanced marketing program, which for there's people who don't understand that course. It wasn't by Neil Patel; it was Neil Patel who sort of like paid other people to put it together, and it was one of the most fantastic resources you can imagine. And I had a year with that course, and that took me on a digital. It was like a digital marketing university, and some of the people who were in that course have gone on to achieve incredible success in life and running their own businesses. And then that was a big thing. And I did a lot of different courses. I kept reinvesting into my education, and that's kind of like how it sort of went along. And then the rest is trial and error and deploying different models and getting successes that way.
Love it. I'm a big fan of investing in yourself. And so take us now to when the value of SEO book. I mean, this is something actually, I believe the very first time I actually heard about you, or even just kind of discovered you, was you're posting a bunch of these great images on LinkedIn. And I was like, oh, I got to talk to this guy. And then you finally put a book out. And so like, how'd you come up with creating all these images? Like, tell me the story of how this started.
Oh, well, images that are ripped off all the time now, I might add, sore subjects. But yeah, so Luke, I mean, I how should I describe this? So what happened was I was getting successful on LinkedIn, and I took a course by a guy called Jack Butcher, who created a Instagram account called Visualize Value. And the course, I think, was called Visualize Value. And basically it was a design course to how to visualize things you wanted to say. And what I started doing is, and in the early days, you would copy Jack's stuff and you would try and find, that's why they're black and white then. And I would try and find very simple images and shapes to explain perhaps more complicated concepts, and it just went like mad, and that's how that ended up being the whole concept of the LinkedIn. My LinkedIn at the time was me helping to explain the value of SEO, and those posts were put together. I put them together in a book because I thought, well, I'm not collecting these are disappearing. I wasn't, and they're in my Canva account, and I don't do as many of them anymore because there's a few reasons for that. As one, because they get ripped off at a scale now. People are taking the old ones, taking their new concept, like they're doing them up and like adding a little spin to themselves. And I'm not really against that, like, because a lot of the inspiration for many of the images of mine came from other people's images in entirely different sectors. But it's flattery, and they always say about flattery, imitation, and things like that. As I get that, but like at a certain point, when you're growing other people's followings and things like that, based off your own insight, and generally, I saw one of my images that I had put together, and literally is my image lifted, and somebody got thousands of likes, and I was thinking, I made that whilst I was sat waiting for this train at 7 a.m, and I remember the exact concept I had with it when I came up with the idea. So like at the moment, I put a pause of them because LinkedIn, there's a lot of these platforms out there that people can just take an image, quickly get AI to do it over and redo it. And I think that's so our point is, I just said, you know what, I need to just dial them back and a little bit now, because I'm just growing other people's followings for them with no effort from themselves. And I'd become a lot of what I was doing with the images were getting so successful that it's like, you know what, I need to adapt. I don't know what I'm going to do in the future and how I'm going to do that. I have some thoughts, but like, I was taking concepts, making them simple, and then people were taking those same simplifications and just sprucing them up, doing something a bit different, but with the same concept, same image, and growing their following. And like, I thought, I thought it was a little bit cheeky, but it is what it is. I mean, I'm not massively angry about it. It's just that I don't want to keep putting a lot of time into helping other people grow their following. So it's just what it is.
It's all good, but it's all good. But everyone knows the OG person who created these. But maybe you can like take them and just like repurpose them and turning them into like just drop them in AI to animate them or whatever. I mean, I think you can do some good stuff with that. I mean, like even because Because I mean, also like I saw some of these like these was a couple years ago. There's so many people other in the industry that are just even coming into now. So I'm like, I feel like you can still keep publishing them, even the older ones. All these new people that come in the industry will see them. I mean, you are OG, so and everyone will give you credit where credit's due. So I think she could.
Yeah, it's surprising, Dre. You're surprised. I put an image out and someone said, "Oh, you've copied that from someone else." Like, man, I published that 2 years ago. It's like, come on. It's and like I get it. Everyone's trying to build a following. Times are tough. There's a hustle out there. There's lots of hustles in the industry right now. It's a very different industry than it was 3 years ago. Mm-hmm. Everybody wants to become an influencer in SEO these days, and I get why. And there's systems and platforms where you can see I can log into a platform and find the best performing SEO content on LinkedIn, and literally press a button and it allows me. It's got an AI thing to allow me to copy it if I wanted to. I don't do those things, but that is one of the big things out there, so I kind of like at the moment I'm sort of thinking about new approaches to that, the LinkedIn and the image situation. But yeah, it's nice to be copied, but at a certain point you put so much effort in and it's so easy for people to copy it. And I think that's kind of like a time we're living in with AI as well. I think that's just part of it.
All right. It's a perfect segue into like the times are changing, right? Andrew, you've been calling out there's the biggest shift in the behavior in search history, right? Because I mean, this whole AEO, GEO, I mean, LMO, we were talking about all the different acronyms here. So, I mean, tell us more about it. Like for those that don't understand it yet, who are just new people that are just new SEOs are coming in here, what is it and why now?
Okay, great question. First of all, the letter doesn't matter whether you call it GEO, LMO, AIO, SEO. It's all the same thing. The reason why I think it's great to have a separator when you're articulating it to a client, and it's the clients that have to understand it more than anything, because largely they'll probably just say in the end, "I just want to chat GPT." That's probably how they'll refer to it. Industry will be known by a few different terms, I think, for quite some time. And so the reason why it's the biggest shift is because the user interface of search is changing. Yeah. And if you want to look at another industry that's been changed like that, or two industries, one is Airbnb. How we book hotels and rooms now has completely changed, and that changed the entire accommodation and property market globally. One website, Airbnb, it changed the economy. And then if you look at taxis and transport, Uber has done the same, and variations of Uber, like in Indonesia, they have different versions of it. I think it's called Grab, I think it was. So Uber itself, the interface is changing. And for the last 20 years, the interface between humans and finding information online has been Google. That's been the dominant engine, and you typing keywords, because that's the only way we've been able to interface with this. And now ChatGPT, LLMs, Perplexity, Claude, all of them, they offer a whole different way for us to interact with the vastness of the internet. And that's the changing point. So it is all about the interaction and the user, what they're doing, the interface. The interface is the key. And that's what's changing. And it's unstoppable. This is a freight train. You can't avoid it. We are going to move away from linear search to this expansive model, which is very complicated. However, the key difference for those who are just coming into SEO, or who are owners, business owners, marketing managers, CMOs, what you have to get your head around is the user interface is changing, and that's the important bit.
Love that. I love that. Okay, so let's take us to the topic of today. I mean, what triggered your realization that keywords are dead?
Okay, so I'm slightly the last couple of years, probably the last 3 years. In fact, probably more so when we last spoke. Really, I went down quite a large brand marketing rabbit hole,
Okay.
really,
Yeah.
and I learned an awful lot about brand marketing, which changed many of the things that I thought of around marketing. And generally speaking, a lot of that comes from a group called the Ehrenberg Bass Marketing Institute, and they do fantastic books. One is called How Brands Grow, and
Mhm.
unoriginally, the title is called How Brands Grow Too. And there's a few others aside from that. And what they do, the Ehrenberg Bass Institute, is probably like the holy grail, the round circle of King Arthur of marketing, where you have all these scientists who analyze brand marketing. I mean, marketing's massive. SEO is a tiny part of marketing as a picture,
Mhm.
and I mean, I know paid search is like I don't even know how 360 billion a year industry or something like that.
Mhm.
But but generally speaking, marketing, you think of TV advertisements and all the different PR aspects. Marketing's a huge industry, and the Ehrenberg Bass Institute is a group of scientists who understand marketing and have analyzed marketing. And How Brands Grow is kind of like the CMO's handbook to how you would grow a brand. And How Brand Grow 2 is the sequel, is about B2B businesses.
Mhm.
And there's a lot in that field that SEO doesn't even talk about. We're not really mentioned in these circles. So I went down this huge rabbit warren to find out what's going on. And that led me to understand brand marketing better. And so when this new emergence of AI started come along,
Mhm.
I instantly could spot, and this is a couple of years ago when ChatGPT launched, around 3 years ago. Originally, we thought it was content. And then as we started to look at just the search engine capability of it, that was when I immediately realized that this was
Yeah.
fundamentally going to change everything, because it changes the way we find information as a species and changes the way we interact with information. So as soon as that happened, I started going deep dive into this, almost like religiously. Every day I was studying this kind of stuff, which has led to where we've got today, where as I only think I'm a little bit ahead of the curve to a lot
Mhm.
of people, because I spotted it a little bit earlier, because I understood brand marketing a little bit earlier, and then what I did was able to tie the two together, really.
Mhm.
Excellent!
All right, all right. So on LinkedIn, you kind of talk about like keywords and like and problem spaces, right? So I mean, I'm curious, like what's the difference between optimizing for keywords and optimizing for like problem spaces?
Okay, so underpinning everything I talk about on LinkedIn is something called information foraging theory. It's not my
Okay.
theory, I didn't invent it.
Uh-huh.
It's a peer reviewed theory, which is widely held about how humans forage for information on the internet.
Mhm.
So it's Google talk about in their Messy Middles Decoding 2 report. There's a lot of evidence to support the fact that information foraging theory is the default mechanism of how we consume information online. So,
Mhm.
and in that, when you go into it, it's an older book now. It's a while. This theory's old. There's a book you can read a lot of. I think you get a PDF for free online. It's very in depth, and there's a lot of mathematical theories around there. Things that we're talking about now, like when people talk about embeddings and things,
Yeah.
stuff like that was mentioned, 20 odd years ago, and
Oh.
things. It's we're we're coming into this like we've invented fire. In reality, it's been around for a long time. And so the way it sort of works is information foraging theory looks at problem solving and how we adapt to problems and how we find information to solve our problems.
Mhm.
Now, essentially, words are dead because keywords represent impoverished needs, impoverished attempt to find more information. We can't add what we wanted to search engines because it doesn't bring back results because the
Mhm.
search engines aren't good enough. So we use broad, medium, long tail
Yeah.
queries to try and find them. We have to go and click on several websites, and for years we've always said the best place to hide a body is on page 2 of
Ooh.
Google, didn't we? We had that saying. The thing with problems, when you actually look at what's behind search, it's a problem. And that problem is somebody who needs more information to solve their problem.
Mhm.
So what happens is, if you think about this not regarding search terms, although it does look a lot like a vector space. Imagine you enter in what's called the problem space, and you've got a problem and you don't know how to solve it. And maybe that problem is literally, I've got a leaky tap, and you don't know how to solve that leaky tap. So you have a problem and you enter into the problem space. So your goal is to have a tap that isn't leaky anymore. So, and your start space is the problem you have, which is the leaky tap. The goal state you want to go into or end up with is actually the tap fixed. And you have that problem. So you enter into this massive problem space, and first of all, most people will ask a friend, or consult themselves. This is pre-internet, and they would maybe ring their dad up or something. Hey, I've got a leaky tap, I don't know how to fix it. And people always look around them. They consult their own mind first to solve a problem, because the human brain is the first search engine we access every time. And then what we do is we might ask some people if there's people about. And then what we do is go to the internet to find more information. So we enter keywords in, and what we try and do is structure our problem, because, when we've used keywords traditionally to structure that problem, and we enter into this problem space, AIO, AEO, or LLMO, GEO, whatever you want to call it, changes this, because for the first time ever, we can become very specific and use natural language to tell search engines, LLMs, specifically what our problem is. So we don't have to be the one defining it. And so we enter the problem space, and what happens is the LLM, due to the incredible systems inside them, can unpack the real intent and also think of our problem from various different angles, understand the problem, use multiple different searches, examine vast amounts of website and information to give you the best response for you and help you to solve your problem. So that's the thing. The difference with keywords is you've got to go and find information yourself, and it's a very time-consuming way, which means we go to different types of results, and we, for example, you might watch the YouTube video and so forth. And because the internet's changing, our problem space is becoming easier to be solved by LLMs. They can find answers from a huge amount of information and give us exactly what we need and make us very happy and very satisfied with the results, because it's very precise. And that's what's happening here, where we're moving from a situation where keywords, which represent the best we could do with the technology at the time, to now a situation where the technology is far, far superior, and we don't need to be poverty-stricken internet users. And I say that with my tongue in cheek, because we're poverty-stricken because we can only use a certain number of search terms to find our results, because the search engines aren't good enough. Now they are. Now we can access the internet in a completely different way and solve our problems faster. We can solve our problems more precisely, and we can find exactly the information we need, which is why it's such a big change.
Love that. Okay, now let's kind of take this further then. So, how does AEO change the way we do research to create content? So, now that we know this, so how is it changing now? So, how should we approach keyword research when we want to create content?
That's a good question. So there's something called category entry points. Okay, so category entry points are the triggers, the emotional, situational triggers that force us to think about what we consider a category. A category is a sector or purchasing something. Now, this has been around for a long time, and you can do the who, what, why, where, and when aspect of this. And I'll give you an analogy now, and it's something I used in my article, which is a really good one. So you're about to go to London. You need to book a restaurant in London. So before you might have typed in restaurants London, but you go into the theatre to see Les Miserables. So you're thinking restaurants near Les Miserables, or words like that, or you're trying to do stuff, and then you've got to click on the restaurant. You've got to look at the menu. It's really, really challenging. However, with an LLM, you can say, I'm going to London next week. I'm going to be seeing Les Miserables. And what I need to do is find a restaurant near the theatre that serves as open late after the showing and serves steak and salads, and also caters for shellfish allergies because one of our group has an allergy. List me the best options available for me. Now that could be a very detailed, very 2-second speak into an LLM to get that, and off the LLM trots. Off it trots to bring back all these different things. Now, the problem is, in the old days, I say the old days, literally a couple of weeks ago, probably, it wasn't economically viable for a brand to consider multiple use cases or consider the situations that users would find themselves in that need a restaurant that's near them type thing. Anything like that works in the same way. So we focused on keywords because that was the economic viability. Restaurants near me, restaurants in London, restaurants in the Les Miserables theatre and so forth. So what you can do in this situation is now you've got to start to think about your customers and the circumstances and the triggers and the situations they find themselves in, both emotional, physical, real world situations where they find themselves in, where they would seek out a service, product, business like yours. And you have to make content that matches that need. Now, some of that's going to be a blog content that's going to be perfect ranked. Some of that might be on-page content. Some of that might be PDFs. Some of that might be interactive. It might be image-based. There's so many different options. It's untrue. So in this situation where we're talking about the London restaurant, well, it might make sense for them to have a web page on themselves which says restaurants near near the theatre, and you don't even have to say Les Miserables. You just have to name the theatre because an LLM will know which theatre Les Miserables in. And I tested this, so I know. So what it would do, you put restaurants near theatre, I think it's called, and you could have a web page on that. Now that's the first level. You know, because people near you coming out of the theatre will need that restaurant. Okay, well, that's the first level of optimization. Somebody who's needing a restaurant who's going to see Les Miserables, that's the easy thing. Okay, well, now I have to think deeper. What about my menu? Okay, how is my menu optimized? Have I given visual images of the dishes? Because ChatGPT, they can analyze the dishes. What about the actual descriptions of the meal? What about the dietary requirements? What about the calories? What about the allergies? How do we deal with allergies as a business? What if a customer is really concerned about booking a restaurant that has allergy needs, and what happens is you haven't talked about that on your website. You haven't got an allergy page. You haven't even got mention of the allergens in your dishes underneath the menu items. So what we have here is loads of edge use cases that you need to consider to optimize around. So when I say to people, a lot of people, like, you read a LinkedIn post and you think, oh yeah, that's the entirety of an opinion and so forth. But this is a very, very deep subject. Natural language processing is 50 odd years of age. You know, it's over that, really. We're talking, code breakers used to use it in World War II, and they talked about how natural language processing was used, and it's been around for a long time. So we're in an incredible era. Geo, SEO, whatever you want to call it, isn't going anywhere. In fact, it's probably going to be one of the biggest marketing channels in history and moving in. We're going to go through a huge growth period as long as the industry doesn't wee on itself, or urinate on itself, I should say, by trying to fight each other or battles over words and letters. Because what we don't want to be is a confused industry. We want an industry that embraces this, because this is hugely opportunistic in terms of timing wise. We've been through a bad couple of years as an industry, and now technology is saying, hey, Luke, we need this. We need this extra optimization. So one of the biggest things, the biggest switches, is how people are going to be searching, because they're not going to be doing searching LLM more. And it allows people to get exactly what they want. But you can't be chosen unless you've thought about as many use cases and situations that your business can be found in. And for the sake of actually doing some decent brand marketing, which is what it is, we're just really talking about brand marketing and copywriting and content and PR and all the rest that goes with it. But for the sake of doing that, you might miss out on lots of business, because what we're going to see is a change. Whereas before, we used to optimize for keywords, and the most viable keywords with the most traffic is what people went for. Now you're going to have the hyper long tail, and it's hyper specific results at scale. Everyone's going to have a hyper specific long tail query, and you don't know what that's going to be. So you have to optimize for every eventuality.
And so how do we do that? I mean, so like, I'm curious, like how, I mean, so you mentioned like, okay, you have a certain situation, you have this problems, like different problem spaces or whatever. Like, how do you identify like how all these edge cases, like what are you doing to like making sure like a client's successful right now, like to making sure that they can get, cover all this that you're talking about right now that can capture this?
Yeah. Okay. So first of all, you have to do this like 5WH test, what, why, when, who, and where, and who with. You look at your consumers and you start to say what are the category entry points? What are the triggers that people come to our business? And most businesses know what they are. For example, I'll give you a situation that's totally non-marketing, not totally non-SEO. So when you walk out of a leisure center, Diet Coke or Coca-Cola know people are thirsty, which is why they shove vending machines inside leisure centers outside gyms with the bottles of Coke in there. And they brand them up with Coca-Cola all down the side of them. I think they even give the fridges free. And what they do is then the company makes money off the vending machine. And they know that because the trigger to think about their product is when people are thirsty. So when people get thirsty, well, where are the situations? Well, one of the situations is they are coming out of a leisure center, and they figured out that category entry points. Now, for mass products, there is huge amounts of category points that are out there, and advertising works to trigger many of those, to make you thought of at the exact time, and so forth. With SEO, you have to understand or geo, I should say. With geo, what you're really doing is have to understand your customers. And you'll find that out from your customers by asking them. You'll find that out by sales calls and auditing sales calls and seeing what the concerns are. And you will find this out in Reddit and the consumer, and there's loads of different ways to do that. Generally, sales calls are speaking to the customers and the business itself. It's probably everyone's going to find that information from them, as well as the obvious things. So you have to think in a multi-directional way to generate these ideas and these edge cases to optimize for.
Love that. Great information there. So like even understanding your audience and just knowing what they're going to be doing ahead of time, understand that behavior is like more important than ever, not in just marketing, but now like in search, like at least in the AEO. Geo. I don't know how long I'm gonna keep saying like multiple ones, but I'm gonna stick to AEO right now. But yeah, so
stick to AEO. I'll stick to AEO for this because I know you like AEO and I like Geo, so we're a clash. So the thing about the problem space. Yeah. So the problem space has two sides of the coin. So the consumer has a problem and the business has a problem. So when the business has a problem, their problem is they need more leads and sales. Yeah. More people sitting in the restaurant, more engineers ordering their machinery, and everyone's got these different problems. The business has a problem and the consumers has a problem. What you need to do is enter what's called the mutual goal state. So the consumer and the business need to match with each other. And that's what LLMs are really doing. They're searching through the vastness of the internet and their own internal data to find the best solutions to solve the problem. So you have to be, from a business perspective, you have to be thinking about how can you be the solution to the problem that somebody has. And you have to think it's no longer about keywords in that respect.
Love that. And Colin Larry's asking, what is GEO? What is GEO?
But GEO is generative engine optimization. Yeah. So, and I like GEO, and everyone's got their own thing. I know you're heavily invested in AEO, and generally you've obviously done the great website that you've done and the resources. So I actually don't think I really don't think the letter matters at all. But the G for generative engine optimization is there because these LLMs, what they do is they generate new text. Yeah. And that text didn't exist every time you press the button. Now, I also think, and I go back to, there's a fantastic book, and I forget the name, by Kevin Kelly in 2016. So the 1,000,
was that 1,000 something?
True fans. So he did the 1,000 true fans.
That's him.
Same guy. So he wrote a book, and I can't remember the life of me name on it, and it's downstairs on my shelf. And he wrote that in 2016. And in 2016 or 2015, he predicted this. He said, in 2026, Google's main product won't be search, but will be AI.
Oh,
Now that was
did?
okay. And inside, yes, and inside that book, he's the former editor of Wired magazine, a futurist, somebody who predicts the future. And I would say, wow, anyone who's predicted that back in those days and getting is pretty getting on his time right. We need to read what he says. And in that, he talks about generative value. And generative value is the thing that happens because we're generating things that weren't there before from other things. And generative value is going to become one of the biggest conversations because you can create value from nothing. So I don't think generative engine optimization is limited to just like finding businesses on search engines. What generative engine optimization is going to do is create value in ways that we never thought possible. Somebody's going to generate a film that does multi-seven figures that someone displays on YouTube because that's a generative. So the generative economy is a very big space that we're only just getting into.
Love it. Hopefully that answers your question there, Colin, Larry. All right, so let's get into the checklist. I'm going to put the link in the live chat, guys, so you can download it now while we talk about it. But let's talk about your checklist right now. So let's see, like, from your checklist, what area do most brands underestimate when it comes to AI readiness?
Edge use cases. That's the big one. That is the big one. Edge use cases, because your whole business is now going to be made up of edge use cases. And because of LLMs, they have the training. Even if you go and analyze, there's been some fantastic work on LinkedIn where this and some really great people who get some kudos in terms of they've understood how they've told you how ChatGPT searches. They've gone and looked at the network in the sources and information to teach us all to how to look at it. And that's fantastic. I love these people. And a big shout out to Steve Toth, who is doing some incredible work in this space. And I'm a big fan of Steve's and the guys at Go Fish as well. They're doing Go Fish Digital, doing great work. And some lots of people putting some clever stuff. There's lots of bad stuff, but there's some great stuff on there. So, well, everything's going to be an edge use case because ChatGPTs, LLMs, Gemini, they have so much information about us. And we can actually see that now in the data and you can see whether it uses the information about yourself, whether it adds that into the context, it changes things. So everything's going to become an edge use case based on people's needs. And they're going to know, every LLM is going to know about your family, going to know about what your family situations, your travel situations, where you live, how you get to work. It's going to know it all. And it's going to be able to give you incredibly precise information, which means that every business has got to optimize for those edge use cases. And they're going to have to do things in a very different way. Websites are going to look incredibly different in the future. And I think that's a big thing coming in that we need to look at as a sector, because we are in the business of optimizing websites. And I think websites themselves are going to have to change. And I'm pushing, I believe we're going to end up in what I would call decentralized search eventually, where the website is only a partial part of everyone's search journey. And I'm not talking about social because that's just another tiny part of the equation. And there's loads of interesting stuff going on out there that I'm happy to talk about, but things that are happening in the space and digital space where we simply totally can't conceptualize it. So yeah, edge use cases, that's the priority for every business at the moment.
There we go. I was like, where's my knowledge about? Love that. Okay, so how going down your checklist, you talk about content freshness and frequency. Like how important is this to LLMs, do you feel?
I think frequency is important, Luke. I mean, like, I know people are selling Geo, AEO, and I see this. And so I got ranked. And how do I get ranked in these search engines and things like that? And how did I get, Luke, you can get ranked in less than a few hours on these things. Freshness is an easy thing. They live on freshness. And at this moment in time, we're entering into probably the wild west of a Geo AEO in terms of these systems, these natural language systems are new. And Google's had, to Google's credit, it's had 20 years of SEOs trying to spam it, and it's developed some very, very good filters to stop people abusing search engines, and it's made to great effort. Because, and we always talk about white hat, black hat, and so forth, and all these different things that goes on in the industry. In actual truth, we're all manipulating search. So, that's what we're doing that for our clients and our livelihoods, because. And the reason why we're doing that is because it's a linear search engine, which is like a list. Everything's a list. When you suddenly change that, so everything's not a list anymore, things radically change. But the problem you have is that there are signal mechanisms in place by Google and others to reduce spam noise. LLMs don't have them yet, which means that there's going to be a heck of a lot of spam. And as I said to Andy Crestadina once on a call, I said, these AI organizations have no idea of how much spam the SEO industry can create at scale, and they are about to have a rude awakening. So I expect many of the things that work in AEO to not work in the future, and not work in the very near future, because they will have to take action.
Love that. I know a lot of spammers, SEO spammers, that are just killing it with the whole, with their AEO tactics. They're just applying what they used to do that didn't work in SEO to their AEO tactics, and it's working like crazy. I mean, you guys can check out one episode by Holly Starks. You can check that out if you want to learn a little bit more about that. But here I want you to also talk about mentioning writing an NLP friendly tone. How does it different from like regular good copywriting?
You know what? Okay, that's a really good, timely question. Okay, so look, if you want to rank, I've got a guide that's coming out soon. I'm trying to release it. It's just so hard to write because it's going to go deep into this. Look, if you want to write good copy, and you want to, we're entering into the full circle. We're going full circle, by the way. So if you want to go and study the experts, the Eugene Schwartzes, the David Ogilvy, the leaders in that section, and my name escapes me, but I used to be very into copywriting and the legends that are involved in it, and that era, that Mad Men era, we're coming back into that era right now. So the reason why good copy is going to become back in fashion, and I hate to say this, but a little bit like the last couple of years, copywriters have had a tough time with generative AI and the content and things like that. The reality now is we're going to need great writers who are AI empowered, because large language models are looking for rich content that is structured in a certain way. And I hate the word chunking, because that's become famous these. I hate the word embeddings and vector embeddings and things like that. But the reality is that's how LLMs understand content and this huge vector embedding space. But when you actually crank down into the history of natural language processing, it's based on great writing. And the problem is the SEO industry dumbed down writing to keyword volume and keyword stuffing at first, then skyscrapering stuff, and then who hasn't read like a pet post with "what is a dog," as things like that. We went and ruined content, and we forced writers to actually put out thousands of words for topics that didn't need those thousands of words, because we thought that was the best way to rank, and it probably wasn't. But we were triggering some kind of system that allowed bigger content to enjoy higher rankings and so forth. That's all changing now. So what we are entering now into a period of a boom period. So if you're a talented copywriter who can understand natural language processing and actually not be on camp, I hate AI, and there's a lot out there that are, but in camp, I'm going to use AI to make myself more productive, you have a fantastic career that's probably going to come up, because businesses need writers who have process that can understand consumers and also can understand how natural language writes. Now, if you're a very good writer, you will naturally write how natural language needs it. You will naturally do it. You will be absolutely on your game, and you will eliminate fluffy words. You will make sentences rich. You will provide high information gain rate for a sentence and a page. Do all those things. Not a great writer, and you're paid well enough. And in addition to that, you're given the time to do that. Now, there's loads of problems around this, from everything from how websites are developed, from white space, to all these kind of areas, to how much clients pay their SEO departments, to how much web agencies want to keep on their website and not hand out to the copywriter. There's loads of clashing conflicts in this whole scenario. But I assure you now that we are entering the world of words, where words, not just words, but words, images, videos, all of that thing, but words absolutely are the thing that LLMs feed on. And you want good wordsmiths, or people who have got technical skills or technology aligned with the ability to understand words, that allow businesses to create, not just churn out content for SEO's sake, but churn out content that LLMs understand and like. And we're going to see that demand rise. Or we won't do, because the SEO industry forces into another way. But I assure you that LLMs reward great writing.
Love that. Love that. Okay, guys, we are coming close to time. So if you guys in the audience have any questions, ask them in the live chat right now, and I'll address them in the order that they are received. But let's get into, I just want to ask a couple more questions here on my end. So what role does trust play when it comes to LLMs selecting sources? I'm curious, how can brands earn that trust in these LLMs?
Okay, so it's called mutual information. So that's what that's what all the SEO is looking for, by the way. So this isn't anything new. It's been around for some time. So mutual information reduces ambiguity. So systems work on information entropy. So basically, they're confused and they're looking for an easy life, and they hate ambiguity. So the only way to reduce ambiguity is to increase information into a system. And that's all we've been doing with SEO anyway, by putting thousands of words on a page. That's how we wanted to increase the amount of information to the search engines, by buying links, by building links, by doing digital PR. It just creates more mutual information around a business and brand. The thing is, we used to do exact match anchor text link earning or link building have your keyword in the link and so forth. Whereas now what we want to link is brands related to topics or subjects that they're experts in. So, and that's what you've got to do. You've got to produce the mutual information, and some of that's going to be on page. A lot of that's going to be on page because you need that. And also you're going to have to produce that information about your brand as well in the eyes of these LLMs. So that's the goal.
Love that, love that. Yeah, and I feel like branding even is more important than ever as well, especially when it comes to LLMs, because they, and just like search engines, like they trust. And if you're a brand, you're more trustworthy, right? I mean, unless just some random website, random page, just throw something up, try to get it ranked. If you're not attached to a brand, I feel like it doesn't work as well as being a brand. I mean, I actually kind of tested this within a competition to get into AEO, and like I was able to outrank the competition by just building a quick little brand and then attaching, certain search term to it, and it was starting to get picked up within the AEOs. Okay, all right, so we are coming close again. I didn't see anything come in, so let me just make sure I covered everything here. I mean, there was a lot to cover here, but let's see. Let me just see what we have here. Ask this one last question here. What signals have you seen that suggest a piece of content of LLMs friendly and likely to be cited? Like, what is your thing that you've been actually seeing that's been that one?
Sorry, Dre, I didn't get that one.
Sorry. Like what signal is? What do you think is the ultimate signal to get suggested as suggested into an LLM? Like, what have you been seeing personally?
What is the ultimate signal for you? Okay, well, at this moment, it's on page in terms of, and whether it's on your pages or on somebody else's pages or a collection of the two, because that's ultimately what we're talking. Whether you're a link on someone else's page or a link on someone else's on your own site, and you have to have that matched up a little bit. So it's about having the right words, about being the right thing, and telling people telling the LMs what you are as the right solution, and being very precise in what you do and who you do it for, and talking about that as well, and getting other people to talk about that as well. Those are the two signals. It's on and off page, but that's the most important thing.
Love it. And when it comes to AEO, I mean, are there any certain tools that you're using to help you like do some research, track your for clients, track certain, like, I guess, prompts or these questions?
That's a massive industry, Dre. That's just I think that's a struggling industry right now to find its space. I mean, there's a million tools being released, and we are using, or we're testing various ones. I mean, essentially, the trouble with these tools is you're paying for everybody else's prompts. If you that's the trouble with them, and you're not paying for your own prompts. So I think There isn't a solution out there that's particularly great yet. I think many are trying it, and they're trying to find a way in this really uneasy, crazy world that we're in. So we're experimenting different things, how you do that. But ultimately, once you identify your own category entry points, that will also give you the ability to go and check that yourself. And you probably find that in truth, it's very easy to check it yourself. And I think many people are going to be able to build their own tools.
Yep. And just quick plug, if you go to AEO.so, it is free. All you have to do is just drop in a certain any prompts, and you can see different queries that are pulled. So just you can get it for free right now. I mean, there are some more extensive ones, but I did build that on my own, just using some vibe coding. So I feel like, you know, anyone could do this. I offer for free on AEO.so, so check that out. And this is the last question I always ask all my SEO professionals that come on here. If someone wants to get into the SEO industry, what would your advice be to them?
Right now, in terms of getting into the SEO industry, it's like obviously it depends on how old you are and where you're coming from. But what I would suggest to people right now is don't think about getting in the SEO industry. Think about increasing your AI literacy. Now, increase your AI literacy, and you will have expanded opportunity that you've never known before. And that's a big topic to finish off on, Paul. But ultimately, what I mean by that is we are entering a period where people can do and achieve things that we can't even think of. And the key to that is AI literacy. And I believe AI literacy is almost as important as literacy full stop. So how good you are at getting AI to do the work and how good you are at using AI. And I could give a very, very quick example that yesterday, 2 days ago, I watched a video on LinkedIn by an expert talking about the LinkedIn algorithm change. And what I did was went to YouTube, I got the transcript, I then took the transcript, took the frameworks that they talked about the transcript, went into a prompt tool that I've created that builds prompts, and then created a new GPT that creates LinkedIn titles in relation to the new algorithmic scores and what LinkedIn likes and what are better concepts. And I did that literally for free. It didn't take me long. It took me about 30 minutes in total. And now that allows me to come up with better content ideas for LinkedIn. And that's an example of AI literacy. Plug that into your life and various different things. You'll find a way to getting into SEO. You'll also find a way of doing anything else you want to. And that's the great opportunity now.
Love that. And for this episode to feel complete for you, any last comments and any projects you want to announce? Projects?
No, we're launching a big range of GEO and SEO services as well. We're expanding our offerings, our GEO offerings. So if anybody is listening to this or watches this and wants some help, wants to understand how to navigate this better for themselves, we work with businesses of all sizes. So make sure you get in touch, and we can definitely help you.
Love that. Everyone, let's give a round of applause. Thank you, brother Andrew. Let me hold on. Can you one quick second? Hold on for 1 quick second. All right, guys, that concludes another episode of the SEO Video Show. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. And don't forget to visit our sponsor, Profound. Try Profound.com. They are an AEO enterprise platform for you guys if you want to get really, really tracking your prompts and a lot of research done there. So check that out. Try Profound.com. Till next time, I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
For watching. Hope you come back next week. Make sure to subscribe. You don't want to miss a thing. Hope you learn something new, because the vibe is incredible. From the special SEO professionals, SEO video show. Let's work. Want to see you be an SEO expert. Paul Andre de Vera helping you step it up. No delay right now. Time to level up. Hey, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. Woo.